Good morning, dear students. I hope you're doing fine. I'm Jason van Osderoars, presenting here. The focus for today's class is listening skills. To be specific, is discussions about road traffic, enforcing the law and reducing waste. Fokusi për orën e sotme të mësimit janë zhvillimi i aftësive dëgjimore. Për të qenë specifik, do dëgjoni diskutime për përdorimin e duhur të rrugës, për forcimin e ligjit dhe reduktimin e mbetjeve dhe faktin se si ne mund të shmangim trafikun në rrugë apo të diskutojmë rreth trafikut të rënduar në rrugë. Before we start with consideration of the listening material, let us look at the photograph. Para se të shqyrtojmë pjesën dëgjimore. Shikojmë fotografin. What do you think it shows? Parashikimit tuaj, çfarë tregon? Let us find out together.
I think it shows a road with a cycle lane and a zebra crossing. A cyclist is riding his bicycle along the cycle lane while some people are crossing the road.
So, one more time. Here we have a cycle lane. Pra, kemi një korsi bicikletash. A zebra crossing. Vijat e bardha. Pritet të kalojnë kalimtarët. And a cyclist. Dhe një cyclist. These are key terms you are going to consider throughout this material. Këto janë tema kyç, të cilat juve pritet të shqyrtoni gjatë këtij materiali. You will hear a radio discussion on a radio show. Do të dëgjoni një diskutim në një shfaqje në radio. But before you listen, check these words and phrases in the word list so that you will understand the reading material and the listening material better. Para se dëgjoni, siguroni që fjalët tek hapësira kontrollo këto fjalë I dini në mënyrë që pjesën që do të dëgjoni dhe më pas do lexoni ta kuptoni siç duhet. For start,
Heavy traffic.
a lot of vehicles on the road. Trafik I rënduar.
Cycle lanes.
Cycle lanes, a special part of the road only used by cyclists. Korsi, bicikletash.
Exhaust fumes.
Gases released by a vehicle pra janë tymra që çlirohen në hapësirë.
Traffic jams.
Traffic jams, kontrolli. Congestion, që do thot vendosje ose bllokimi I trafikut.
Public transport.
Buses, trains, trams, all these make the public transport. Pra transporti publik, në kuptuar këtu autobusat, trenët, tramvajt.
Narrow streets.
A thin road that doesn't have much room. Rrugë të ngushta, pra rrugë të ngushta që nuk kanë shumë hapësirë për të manovrosh.
Illegal parking.
The act of drivers parking their cars in an area where parking isn't allowed. This is illegal parking. The Albanian equivalent for it is parkim ilegal.
Dangerous drivers.
Somebody who is unsafe when they drive, pra kushdo që konsiderohet I pasigurt kur ngjet makinën, identifikohet si shofer I rrezikshëm.
Traffic warden.
Somebody who finds drivers who park their cars in illegal area. Pra persona të cilët bën gjoba shoferëve të cilët parkojnë makinat në hapësira jo legale, jo të ligjshme. Quajmë ndryshe në shqip mbikëqyrësit e trafikut.
Patrol.
To patrol means to safeguard, pra të patrullosh ose të ruash.
fine.
An amount of money paid as punishment. Or job, see term equivalentship.
Enforce the law.
To apply the law. So enforcing the law means applying the law. Pra ta aplikosh ligjin ose ta përforcosh përdorimin e tij.
Pedestrians.
Pedestrians, a person who walks. The Albanian equivalent for it is kalimtar.
Swerve.
Swerve means changing direction suddenly. Pra ndryshon drejtim ose manovron hapritmas. Pra swerve, manovroj, ndryshoj drejtim, hapritmas. Now it is time for you to listen to the discussion, and after listening you need to be able to answer to the questions in the exercise 2A. Shkoar që do të dëgjoni diskutimin dhe pasi të dëgjoni do të jeni të gatshëm të përgjigjeni ushqimeve dhe pyetjeve tek hapësira 2A.
Good evening. My name's Tom King, and welcome to the show. Now, as we all know, the town centre is a busy place, and heavy traffic has been a problem for a long time. In addition, a recent report in the local newspaper revealed that asthma and other illnesses that affect breathing are on the rise. In the studio tonight, we have Sarah Toft from Bentham Cycling Club, who has some suggestions about how to solve this worrying situation. So, Sarah, what's the solution?
Cycle lanes, Tom. They can reduce the pollution we face every day. I cycle into work every day, and the exhaust fumes from traffic jams are terrible. Now, I know we can't ban lorries in the town centre. They have work to do there, or public transport. But we can encourage people to cycle into work instead of driving their cars. Bicycles are environmentally friendly, so they don't cause any pollution. And let's not forget that cycling is great exercise.
Yes, but the town centre is very old with lots of narrow streets. Is there enough room for cycle lanes?
The streets in the town centre are only narrow because of illegal parking. There are cars parked down both sides of the streets. We need more traffic wardens patrolling those streets to enforce the law. Take away those cars and there is plenty of room for everyone. Cars, bicycles and pedestrians.
That's a good point. I can't remember the last time I saw a traffic warden fining someone.
Another advantage of cycle lanes is that they protect cyclists. When I cycle on the road, I have to watch out for dangerous drivers or speeding cars. Heavy traffic is bad enough, but if we had cycle lanes, cyclists wouldn't have to worry so much about getting hit by a car or a lorry.
Perhaps, but don't cyclists sometimes cause accidents themselves?
Of course, but not often. If there are no cycle lanes, cars might drive very close to the edge of the road. This will not give enough room for cyclists to get past, and means that the cyclist may need to move further into the road or to go around cars. This can cause problems for drivers who aren't expecting cyclists to swerve onto their part of the road. We have to educate cyclists, drivers and pedestrians about what cycle lanes are for and how to use them. Cycle lanes are definitely the best answer to the problem.
I can see that you've got very strong opinions about cycle lanes. I remember the enjoyment I got from cycling when I was young. I used to go everywhere by bike, but when I learned to drive and got my first car, I forgot all about cycling. We drive everywhere these days, even if we're only going next door. It seems to me that this is a good opportunity to get back on our bikes. You never know, we might enjoy it again. My thanks to Sarah, and on next week's show we have...
Before we continue with the comprehension check section and answer to the questions about this listening and reading material, let us discuss the fact on whether the material was informal or formal speech. Për parë se shqytojmë gjithë informacionin dhe si e kuptuam në atë tek hapësira e kuptimit të informacionit duke përgjigjur pyetjeve, le të trajtojmë në fillim faktin nëse gjithë ky informacion ishte ligjërat, komunikim ligjërat jo zyrtare apo komunikim zyrtar. Të shohim pak karakteristikat e komunikimit jo zyrtar. Informal speech is used when the speaker is speaking in an intimate, personal way, without preparation. For example, in an everyday conversation, in real life, in canteen, in the street, or over the phone. The speaker sounds friendly and casual. So, do you think these characteristics apply to the speech you listen? A mendoni që këto karakteristika, pra karakteristikat e komunikimit informal, komunikimit të përditshëm, gjuhës së përditshme, i takojnë komunikimit që sapo dëgjuat, pra folësi tingëllon miqësor, gjuha është e përditshme, flet në një mënyrë që nuk ka nevojë për përgatitje paraprake, ndihet konfident kur flet, biseda është për jetën e përditshme. Informal speech is characterized by everyday phrases or slang vocabulary, short verb forms, short, simple sentences with simple grammatical structures, delaying expressions, and informal phrasal verbs. Also, we omit some of the words. Gjithashtu, përveç vonesave në komunikim, hapësirave, shprehjeve informale, gjuhës së përditshme, her pas here nuk kuptojmë fjalë. How about formal speech? Formal speech, ose ligjërimi zyrtar, is used when the speaker has prepared beforehand what he or she is saying. For example, when making a presentation or delivering an official speech. Pra, çdo gjë zyrtare do të thotë që është e parapërgatitur, si në raste kur bëjmë prezantim apo japim një ligjërat zyrtare. The speaker sounds polite and official, and formal speech is characterized by more advanced vocabulary, full verb forms, longer sentences, no use of phrasal verbs, the passive voice. Judging by these characteristics, duke shkuar nga këto karakteristika, would you consider the information you just listened and read formal or informal speech? Yes, I'm sure everybody agrees that it was informal speech. Now let us consider answering to the questions about the reading material and listening material. The first one, what does Sarah suggest to reduce town center traffic? I agree that everybody listens that she suggests getting people to use bicycles. Let us consider listening it one more time.
So, Sarah, what's the solution?
Cycle lanes, Tom.
So, we referred to the context by listening again what we listened so that we can give a correct answer. Referuam kontekstit duke dëgjuar përsëri atë çka dëgjuam në mënyrë që ne të marrim dhe të qarkojmë përgjigjen e duhur. What does Sarah say about the streets in the town center? They are not in good condition. It is illegal to drive down them, or they are wide enough for cycle lanes. They are wide enough for cycle lanes. Let us refer to the context for our answer.
Take away those cars and there is plenty of room for everyone. Cars, bicycles, and pedestrians.
Very well. So let us consider the exercise, the question number 3. What is Sarah worried about when she's cycling? Other cyclists, bad drivers, or heavy traffic? Bad drivers. To justify our answer, let us Look back at the listening material and refer to the context. Për të argumentuar përgjigjen tonë, I kthehemi pjesës dëgjimore dhe kontekstit.
When I cycle on the road, I have to watch out for dangerous drivers or speeding cars.
Okay, how can cyclists cause problems? They can surprise car drivers, they don't have enough space on the road, or they're cycling too near to the side of the road. They can surprise car drivers. How do we support our answer? Si e analizojmë, si e mbështesim përgjigjen tonë që është e saktë? By referring to the context, duke referuar kontekstit.
This can cause problems for drivers who aren't expecting cyclists to swerve onto their part of the road.
Okay, and what does the presenter say about cycling? He does not like it anymore, he enjoyed it a lot, or he wants to learn to ride a bike. He enjoyed it a lot.
I remember the enjoyment I got from cycling when I was young.
Okay. As part of your homework, you're going to consider the exercise number 5 on your books. Si pjesë letrës shtëpisë, do shqyrtoni ushtrimin 5 në librin tuaj të nxënësit. What else can we do to reduce waste? Çfarë mund të bëjmë për të reduktuar mbetjet? Collect information and prepare a presentation. Mbledh informacion dhe përgatit një prezantim. In order for you to have a better idea of how to do it, let us consider this presentation. Në mënyrë që juve të keni një ide më të mirë se si ta bëni këtë gjë, le të shqyrtojmë prezantimin që është përgatitur për ju, ku pritet që hapësirat bosh t'i plotësojmë me fjalët që janë vendosur lart dhe ta dëgjojmë atë. Are you ready?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start by saying that reducing waste is extremely important nowadays. The focus of this presentation is to suggest ways to reduce waste at home. There are a number of things we can do. Of course, recycling is the most efficient way to reduce waste, as is composting and reducing waste by reusing things. However, we can also make sure that when we go shopping, we use reusable shopping bags and buy fruit and vegetables loose without packaging. When we use batteries, we can make sure they are rechargeable so we don't have to replace them. We can also give away or sell things we don't need and buy used items instead of new ones whenever we can. Finally, if we need something for a short time, we can hire it or borrow it rather than buy it. To sum up, we can recycle, compost, and reuse things. We can use reusable shopping bags and avoid excess packaging. We can also use rechargeable batteries, give away things we don't need anymore, or buy used items. I'd be glad to answer any questions. Thank you for your time.
Okay, so this was a sample of what you can do. Ky ishte një model I asaj çka ju mund të bënit. Try to make your own presentation. Përpiquni të bëni dhe ju prezantimin tuaj. Try to register it and submit it in the English lab. Përpiquni ta regjistroni dhe dorëzojeni atë tek laboratori I anglishtes. See you next class. Until then, have a nice day. Dëgjojmë orën e ardhshme, deri atëherë, ju uroj ditë të qeta.